Hello, everybody. Good morning. The Premier League is back. The Premier League is back. Welcome to Talk of Football Daily. And I'm your host, Kennedy, and I'll be talking to you about what's going on in the world of football. Now, let's get right into it. Now, we are happy after like 3 months of no competitive football. Premier League is back, and it's going to start with Bournemouth and Liverpool in Anfield. It's going to be a good game. I like to see what Bournemouth will do because I think it will be a real test for them. I talk about in so many videos. I've always been talking about how Bournemouth has changed their whole back line, losing like three of their defenders, Milokekers, Zabani, and Dean Hoyson, alongside Kepa Arrizabalaga, who has gone to Arsenal. So it's going to be a very different Bournemouth, and they have lost one of their key player, Kotara, to Brentford because I think that has to do with the domino effect of Alexander Isak. So to replace Alexander Isak, we still need somebody else, but for now, I think Newcastle is going to settle with Johan Wissa. And when Johan Wissa leaves Brentford will need someone to replace him, who is Otara. Otara will replace him from Bournemouth. Okay, and that leaves Bournemouth still have some players like Sumeno, Evan Nielsen, and the rest. So I like to see what's going to happen to Bournemouth versus Liverpool. Liverpool had a shocking defeat to Crystal Palace in the Community Shield. So I don't think Liverpool can lose another game. I think Liverpool is going to be hardcore. I think they're going to be like 2-3 zeros mindset of goals. I know Bournemouth can be dangerous, but with what they have done in this transfer window, I think they did more of outgoings than incomings. And if they brought in any names, they are not big names. Okay, they develop players and they sell them, good business, but I pray it doesn't have an effect that leads to relegation for them. So I think to be a real test for Bournemouth. And I'm judging this football this season. I'm using the transfer windows to judge what's going on in how football games are going to go. I'm using it to predict games. So if I see that your team spent a lot of money buying players, I'll think that you guys are likely to win, even if football is not always like that. But I think the dice is in your favor if you invested in the team. Like Nottingham Forest, you see what they are doing, how they build up their squad. They've brought in so many players, and I think they might still do one or two business before the window closes. So when Bournemouth is playing when Nottingham Forest is going to play with Brentford, I tend to think that Nottingham Forest will win or at least draw the game because they have the upper hand. Brentford and Bournemouth made so many changes. So Newcastle has strengthened their squad. Newcastle has brought in Malik Chow, a defender from AC Milan, a German Finnish defender from AC Milan, and they've also brought in Jacob Ramsey from Aston Villa, and they are bringing in Johan Wissa, okay, from Brentford. So Johan Wissa is very happy. He wants to be a Newcastle player. That same Newcastle that a lot of people are rejecting is what Johan Wissa has been disputing, having feud with his club, refusing to train because he wants to join that same club that nobody wants to join. So in this transfer window, I think it's all about levels. Maybe next transfer window, I think Newcastle should rebrand themselves and, if possible, talk to players before the season end and know who you're going to buy. Have an agreement with these people on the side, and when the season ends, activate. Just keep everything low key. Let nobody know what you are going for, and that's it. And make sure that Newcastle needs to make sure that they are in agreement with the player, not the club. Player first before the club. Just the way Manchester United used to get another teams like Chelsea and Liverpool got players away from Newcastle United. So I think there's a lot to learn from this transfer window. There's a lot to learn, and we're going to see if the money that was spent among the big four, top four, is going to be is going to show or is going to be a waste. Because I don't think you can spend that kind of money and still lose games like you don't have coordination. I think it will all boil down to the manager now to show what he has, and I really hope that Arsenal can really stop Easy from going to Tottenham Hotspur because I feel like we're easy away from winning the Premier League. And another thing is AS Roma. AS Roma, they are strengthening their squad. It's like they might lose Kone. They might lose Kone, the midfielder from France. It's looking that way, but maybe they might lose him to Inter Milan. And they are still trying to strengthen. They are trying to go for two good wingers, who's Jadon Sancho and Leon Bailey. Jadon Sancho for Manchester United. I think Manchester United is ready to sell him for about £20 million, and Leon Bailey from Aston Villa. We know that guy is good. I love him, but brother is injury prone. He's injury prone so much, and I don't think Aston Villa would want to deal with that continuously. I don't think he's on injury right now. Maybe he's fit, but for how long is he going to stay fit? Because he's not consistent in showing up for games because of the injuries. So, but I'm curious about this Jadon Sancho deal. Jadon Sancho refused to take a pay cut when Chelsea wanted to sign him. He refused to take a pay cut and insisted on keeping his salary. So I want to see, can CR pay that kind of salary to Jadon Sancho? Won't he have to cut down a little like Rashford? But I feel like if AS Roma go for uh Jadon Sancho and Leon Bailey, they might do well this season. Those are players that want to prove themselves if they can stay fit, of course. They can stay fit, of course. So I like to see what's going on in the Premier League. I think we've had 3 months of uh it wasn't boredom because the transfer news was okay. Other transfer windows was dry, boring, nothing to show for it. So when the season ends and maybe there's international break or those January transfer window, nobody's taking advantage of it, so everywhere is just boring. But this transfer window, even without football for about 3 months, although they had a lot of games because I think all these clubs are so ambitious, looking for money, so the players didn't really get summer holidays, which is not right. See them going to Asia, America, playing games, and those things can have an effect on the players. So, anyways, this transfer window was not boring. There was so many activities, so many business was done, and I loved it. I loved it all the way. Best transfer window ever. Now, guys, I want to talk about Spurs game with PSG. Honestly, that game saddened me. I wasn't happy, even if I'm an Arsenal fan. I wasn't happy to see Spurs lose because it shows a lack of coordination, lack of ambition, and you see a very weak PSG that have only been training for 6 days prior to the match. So, since after they left the Club World Cup, they needed to take a break and rest. After they lost the final to Chelsea. PSG that is not even good. You see, PSG can't complete passes. Tottenham players were faster, more accurate, more counterproductive than PSG in the game. I mean, Tottenham Hotspur gave us the game. They made us to enjoy the game for about 75 minutes, and Spurs became Spursy. So it seems like Tottenham is back. Seems like Tottenham cannot change their way of thinking and their style. One thing I would say is I cannot really be hard on Thomas Frank. We can say Thomas Frank made those bad changes, but we need to remember that Thomas Frank is a relatively new manager with this club, Tottenham Hotspur. He has not been there for long, so he's still learning his players. Okay, I know he has played some few preseason games, but he's still learning the kind of players that he has. So when you look at Tails, I mean, Tail from Bayern Munich, if Bayern Munich give you a player, I think we need to be wary of that. We need to be looking at them with like the third eye. Any player that is leaving Bayern Munich, the guy is young. Why would they want to lose him? So I think Tottenham Hotspur did not really get a good player. I've watched so many of his games, so don't think I'm judging him based on the mistakes he made. And I'm not even judging him based on the penalty he missed because anybody can miss the penalty. I mean, I could have sworn that Van der Ven would have scored that penalty because he was the one I wanted to take the penalty in my heart. I felt like if Van der Ven should take this penalty, man, he would definitely score. And to my shocking, he didn't score. Same with Salah, didn't score against Crystal Palace. So you can't really blame a player for missing the penalty. But I can tell you that in overall general performance, Tels is not really a good player. I've watched so many of his games since last season and this few preseason, and he's not really doing a good job. I think he has a lot to learn when it comes to football. Maybe he needs to go to a lower league. He looks like a championship player to me than a Premier League player, honestly. So it was not good. I cannot come here and be laughing at Tottenham Hotspur. It wasn't funny. Doesn't funny. We need to see Tottenham Hotspur win. At this rate, we don't even know if they win Burnley, but they should be able to win Burnley. But there's doubt. Like, you should be sure. It should be one of the surest things in football. Tottenham versus Burnley. We should just say Tottenham is going to win, but now we don't know what's going to happen because of the unpredictability of Tottenham Hotspur and how they are supposed. How can you have a two go up and you let PSG back into the game in the 85th and 94th minute and they win you on penalties? And you even had the lead on penalties. I think is it Vitinha that missed. You were ahead on penalties and you had to bottle it. I don't like to use that word because it's a word that people like to use on Arsenal. So I don't like to use that word. I don't think an Arsenal fan should be calling anybody butler. So guys, let's watch the Premier League. Huge anticipation. We're going to pay huge attention to this season and we're going to get the best out of football. So I hope the people that spend the money will not let us down. I feel like maybe the money they spent will bring the best out of them. So guys, please don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Thank you for watching this video. Please like the video. Have a good day. Bye for now.